Got some.
East Africa savanna is home to the cheetah. Cheetahs are considered a threatened species. It is believed that only 7,000 to 12,500 are left in the wild. A mother cheetah usually has 3 to 5 cubs, but up to 9 cubs can be born. A mother will stay with her cubs for 18 months, then she will leave them. After siblings become independent from their mother, they usually stay together for quite some time. They are active mainly during the day, with hunting their major activity. Carnivorous in nature, they stalk their prey to within 330 to 980 feet. African cheetahs achieve successful hunts running up to a speed of 64 kilometers, 40 miles per hour, all while hunting. Due to their exceptional ability of accelerating, it would leave most automobiles in the dust. A cheetah can go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in only 3 seconds. It is therefore the fastest land mammal alive. However, there is one who could rival the cheetah. One depicted as an absolute killing machine. One that could, in fact, be still alive to this very day. Our next adventure takes us from Papua New Guinea's Robin to the USA's great state of Georgia, the largest state east of the Mississippi River, with 159 counties, more than any other state east of the Mississippi, where 10.52 million people currently reside. Georgia is a southeastern U.S. state whose terrain spans coastal beaches, farmland, and mountains. The capital city, Atlanta, is home of the Georgia Aquarium and the Martin Luther King Jr. National Historic Site. Georgia Harts County is named for Nancy Hart, a patriot and warrior that aided in the fight against the British in the Revolutionary War. Georgia has 24.8 million acres of forest land and 24.4 million acres of timberland available. Georgia is home to 65 threatened and endangered plant and animal species. Wildlife is abundant in these woods. Amongst animal species here, there are rumors of something else inhabiting these lands. Since the start of the new millennium, on more than 2 occasions, it has been seen by locals who describe something that should not be alive. According to paleontologists of the Western world, creatures such as these have been extinct for millions of years. On a sunny day in July of 2008, 2 eyewitnesses who prefer to be anonymous came forward with their story.
This happened to me and my grandpa on a hunting trip in July of 2008. I don't see my grandpa very often, so I always take the chance to take trips with him. Grandpa is pretty much an outdoorsman and enjoys hunting, fishing, and just being out in nature. Grandpa and I were out in the woods. It was around 3 to 3:30 on a Friday, the 25th of July. I was 18 at that time. We were on Grandpa's land in Georgia. It's a pretty place with the typical Georgia woodland and a few grassy plains. We were walking on a little rocky road, heading for a site where Grandpa often sees deer. Suddenly, we heard an unusual noise we've never heard before on our many hunting trips together. Grandpa looked at me and listened. Then he raised his finger in front of his mouth to show me that we shouldn't make any more movements. I heard a lot of movement and more of the noise. I can't really describe the sounds, but I sure can describe what I saw. We just kept listening to the sounds as suddenly something came walking slowly out of the bushes and onto the road maybe 150 yards in front of us. My eyes got really big, and at that moment I wasn't even scared, just amazed to see this creature. We didn't move. As crazy as it sounds, it looked like a raptor from the popular Jurassic Park movies. I just froze because I thought things like that lived many thousands of years ago. It had a long, stiff tail, walked on 2 feet. It looked lizard-like and had a huge claw on both of his feet and smaller claws on his arms. Since the creature appeared to us that it could run fast, we decided to just not move at all. It raised its head, and it seemed like it was smelling the air. I estimated its height around 5 feet at the shoulders. After sniffing the air, it made these strange sounds again and turned around and ran off into the bushes. Grandpa and I waited until we felt safe again, and then quietly made our way back to the truck and drove home. In the truck, we talked to each other about what we'd seen, and decided not to tell Grandma because she would think we were crazy. I've never believed in stuff like ghosts and creatures and paranormal stuff, and I still don't believe in ghosts. But since that encounter, I believe in creatures that science simply doesn't know about. That's my story, and as odd as it sounds, I know what I saw.
So you got Raptor facts pulled up?
Yeah.
Okay. So for instance, for this Georgia Raptor sighting, if you think about a little bit of the habitat, it's got plenty of deer, it's got some of the rodents out there, and it's got plenty of water to drink from in Georgia, of course. So it doesn't seem like that would be a problem for sustainability. The legitimacy of of this encounter is quite fascinating. I never like to just dismiss just anything, but there are some problems with the story, just a little bit here and there. However, a lot of people who are very much skeptic, even though they call themselves cryptozoologists, have the nerve to just be a full-out skeptic on it. And they say, okay, the problem here is he mentioned thousands of years. Well, I actually kind of find that to be smart. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a creationist, okay? I don't believe in evolution. I understand if you do. I don't have a problem with the fact that you believe that, and I'm not going to ridicule you for it. But this is what I believe, all right? So, I would like to believe the story, and I tend to want to, because it's a very intriguing story, and it sounds cool, and you get the idea, you get the notion behind it. There are other sightings of raptors around the USA, and I think we touched on something not long ago, but there was a sighting in Oklahoma and other places. I think it was Tulsa, Oklahoma. By the way, guys, if you're just now joining me, I have with me, this is Anthony Brent, also known as...
Well, I don't have a YouTube channel yet.
He's working on it. Okay, he's working on a YouTube channel, but what are you going to call yourself again?
Well, my Xbox One name, after my first one kind of broke down or whatever, I decided to go with Unspeakable 474 for some reason, so that's going to be my YouTube channel when I get it working.
And so what are you going to be posting on?
Mostly gaming videos, maybe a few cryptozoology ones here and there, maybe.
Oh, there you go. We got a young cryptozoologist here, and he's going to be posting things on games. So if you probably need a way around, maybe like cheat codes, stuff like that, or a way around videos, or a walkthrough maybe, right? Yeah? Okay. A walkthrough video. So if you need help when you're playing these games, you might be the one to check out. So check it out. Also, let's talk about a little bit of the raptor. There are some qualities here, okay? Now, some people will talk about velociraptors not having these claws. Now, I'm not sure where they're getting this notion that they don't have claws, all right? That's new to me. But raptors have claws, okay? We all know that they were small. They're about the size of a turkey.
Or a big chicken, as some people say.
Or a big chicken. However, I want to make something very clear here. Just because we find a skeleton of a raptor and it's small, doesn't mean it doesn't belong to the line of Deinonychus, or some people would say Deinonychus, okay? Deinonychus, we all knew, could be 6 feet to 10 feet in height. They were big, and they were a ferocious predator. So the raptor falls in that category. It is a part of the family of Deinonychus. Okay, it's just a smaller version, that's all. Now, did it have feathers? I don't have a hard time believing that. Sure, I guess it's possible. But yes, the raptor could have feathers. However, the one that was described in the sighting in Georgia, this particular raptor does not have feathers. But keep in mind, it was in July, okay? It's a warm day. So could it be that raptors grew their feathers later on? Okay? Now, that's a possibility. Something to think about, all right? But I definitely think they still have claws. What do you have on your screen so far as...
Well, right now, Velociraptor means speedy thief, and yeah, right here it says sickle-shaped, retractable 3.5-inch claw on each foot, located on the second toe.
Okay, so I don't know where some of these people are getting this idea about the claw thing not being there, because they said it was stupid and it doesn't make any sense to have a claw.
Yeah, I read that one earlier, actually, before we started recording.
Oh, nice. Good for you. He's studying up on his stuff. He knows his things. Maybe more so than I do. So let's talk about the skeptics of these sightings, okay? There's always going to be somebody who's going to come forward and say, nope, they're full of it. They're not telling the truth. They're just making it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what do they have to gain from it? As a matter of fact, the people who witnessed this, they still have not stepped forward. They haven't claimed the notoriety from it. And maybe that's because it could be false, maybe. But there's a lot of people who do not want to be bothered with these things. As a matter of fact, they don't like the ridicule. They don't want to be ridiculed about it if they have a sighting. They don't want to be made fun of. They don't want to be told that they're crazy, things like that. So I understand and respect their privacy. But it would be nice to see someone step forward if they've had this sighting, so they could come out and say, hey, look, I saw this. Here's the evidence I have with my own eyes. And I'm not about to call someone... I think when you make fun of them and say, oh, no, they're seeing things. Oh, they didn't see that. They probably saw just a bird. You're basically calling them stupid, okay? And to me, that's just definitely wrong. You're making fun of them immediately. I think people know what they see when they see it. Let me ask you something, Anthony. If you saw a bird in the sky, could you identify if it was featherless or had feathers?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yep.
How high do you think it would be difficult to determine that?
Honestly, considering the fact that I've never been in that situation, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Well, I can tell you this, from my own observation, about at least 100 feet in the sky, without binoculars, nothing like that, you can identify that it has feathers, up to about 100 feet. So if it was less than that, no problem. 100 feet, most likely, and probably even past that. So when someone says they saw something reptilian in the sky flying, like potentially a robin, I find it very easy to believe them. They know what they see when they see it. You tell that to all the people in Papua New Guinea. You tell that to all the people in the Congo who have been seeing the Mokele Mobembe. Okay? So I'm not about to make fun of people and call them names because they may have had a misidentification. I don't think so. Okay? I don't believe that at all. In closing, is it possible that this guy that was seen was maybe a Trudon? Yeah, I think that's a possibility. A lot of cryptozoologists believe this. Trudon's a little bit different. He was about 3 feet high. Okay, so he's a lot smaller. Technically about the size of a raptor, maybe it's smaller, but he's actually the most intelligent of the species. Get that, because his brain was a lot bigger. So I think that, yeah, it's a possibility that he was seen. I think it could be a Trudon, yeah. But according to the Eyewitness, he described something more raptor-like, but Trudon does fall in that category of raptors. So I want to believe this story. I think it's got some great facts to it or great information to it. I want to believe it. I'll choose to believe it. It comes down to you, whether or not you believe it or not. And based on what you read and based on what you know, what do you think? What is your opinion on that one?
Well, on if it's a raptor or a Trudon, well, I'm not sure. It could be either one.
Yeah, it could be. Do you think what their sighting was legit? You think it was legit or something that was potentially made up?
Well, in this situation, there's still a bit of a 50-50 chance because I wasn't there to see it, so.
A good point. Good point. Neither was I, but I would have loved to have been there. Again, some of the details are shady, as you've heard in the narration. It's a shady subject, but shady story. But I'll tell you right now, being a cryptozoologist, first things first, I'm choosing to believe. All right? But I'd love to have someone step forward to claim it and say, hey, let's talk more about the location, exact location, and more information. That'd be very, very helpful. I'd say thank you to our special guest who supplied Raptor sounds, and we'll have him bring him out and show you. Can you come out? Come on. Want to walk?
He might be a bit shy at
He's
first.
probably a little shy. Oh, there he goes. He's.
You coming, buddy?
He'll get there.
Oh, boy.
Oh, there he goes. You gonna say something? You gonna say goodbye? Oh. Well, he's a little curious, but really appreciate you guys watching and viewing the information that we had for you. I think this might be the first video on this particular sighting, so I'm glad you took the time to watch, and most importantly, seek the truth. And God bless every one of you on the other side of the screen.